Welcome back to Hannity. As the Boston bombing investigation deepens, the FBI plans to interview the widow of Tamerlan. That's her name is Katherine Russell. The 24-year-old reportedly met the suspect in 2010 and converted to Islam at his request. Now, she dropped out of college, got married, and had his baby, who is now 3 years old. According to reports, Russell was, quote, totally transformed by the suspect. Now, Russell's lawyer is working now with police on how to move forward and has said that his client did not suspect her husband of anything. We're also learning today that Boston was merely the beginning of the brothers' terror spree. According to the New York Times, a senior U.S. official has confirmed that New York City was likely their next target. Now, investigators learned that information during an interview with the motorist who was carjacked by the terrorists last week. One of the suspects reportedly told the man that they plan to drive to New York City in coming days. Here with reaction, author, columnist, the one and only Coulter. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
All right. I watch all this, and I'm a little bit concerned because now he's got his Miranda rights, the right to remain silent. I think it's a mistake not to treat him as an enemy combatant. The evidence is obviously out there.
Right.
It's not like we need evidence for the trial because that exists.
Right.
So what's the point?
Also, why not just shoot up the boat? If we're not going to talk to him and get any information about the cell, about any foreign influence.
What's the point?
Yeah, why not? They should have just kept shooting when they caught him in the boat. Just get him an automatic death penalty there. I mean, I totally agree with you. I've seen this happen a million times. Lawyers are cowards. You see them on TV. Opinion tends to ossify around one answer. No, a civilian trial.
I'm not worried about the guilty verdict. The guilty verdict's coming.
I agree.
I'm worried about what does he know.
We need information, exactly. It is national security information. We need to know what Russia knew. Now that they know, what a bang-up job our FBI did after the FBI was tipped off by them, are they going to trust us with their information to be presented in a public trial? I mean, I understand why reporters want a public trial, a civilian trial. They want to report on what is presented. Do they think they're the only ones who are going to be able to see what's said at a public trial? And I want to know about this wife as well. One thing that's been sort of confusing in the reporting, they say that he married her in 2010. I believe to be true, but they keep saying he hit her or his girlfriend a year ago.
Right.
It turns out, which the father, by the way, defended as, according to the New York Times, quote, he only lightly hit her. Point two, the person he hit was another girlfriend while he was married to her. I don't care if she knew about this. She ought to be in prison for wearing a hijab. This immigration policy of us assimilating immigrants into our culture isn't really working. No, they're assimilating us into their culture. Did she get a clitorectomy too?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but your point is well taken in this sense, and that is, one of the things that we learned is that the policy apparently changed at the beginning of this year. We went back to a pre-9/11 mentality where the Saudis are actually, they give their own recommendation. They're doing our own vetting for us in terms of who's getting into the country. Now, if people are coming from countries where perhaps they grew up under Sharia law, I think we can make a safe assumption that they have been radicalized. I think allowing foreign students into the country without investigative background checks that are exhaustive is a mistake, and it's putting Americans at risk.
Right, and also, I mean, our immigration policy has nothing to do with helping America. It has to do with solving the internal problems of other countries. We'll take Russia's radicals. We'll take the illiterate, unskilled, low-skilled workers from all these other countries. We'll take their old people and put them on our supplemental security insurance and Medicare. No, your immigration policy is supposed to be to make your country better, not to make it worse and to create all these problems. Lindsey Graham was on some show this weekend saying, oh, this shows how we need better tracking. I'm thinking this shows how we need better immigrants.
Well, I think it needs to. Look, if we don't vet you, why are we letting you in here?
Well, look,
because someone's going to say that's discriminatory. You know what's not discriminatory? We have a right to discriminate.
But we're letting people into our country. Of course we do.
Well, you don't have a right to come to the United States of America.
And there's nothing wrong with being discriminatory. It is not discriminatory based on race. It ought to be discriminatory based on skills, based on age, based on resources. And with your pal Mario Rubio pushing this amnesty bill now, when
that
we're
would be
expecting
Marco Rubio.
Whatever. When we're expecting the FBI to do background checks on 20 million illegal aliens in the next 3 months. They can't do a background check on a radical when they're tipped off by Russia.
But now, there's a deeper principle at stake here. I don't like to be lied to. And the official response from our government to this day is that Major Hassan was a case of workplace violence. Right. We've been lied to. That's not true. This guy was saying Allahu Akbar before he shot up 13 people.
Oh yeah, and he gave a presentation on how to cut someone's head off.
You can't convince me that these guys made these bombs on their own, financed it on their own, and that they didn't have help. So that means there are other people out there.
Right.
And now we're not getting the information that we need from the one that actually survived.
Right, and that's why I agree. I think we ought to look at him as
I'd waterboard him myself.
We ought to be looking at him as an enemy combatant and moving him toward a military tribunal. All the Supreme Court said on that, by the way, it isn't that the citizens can't be tried in a military tribunal. What they said is you get a hearing on the question of whether you are an enemy combatant. Okay, let's have that hearing. You still get due process. There probably will not be
file habeas corpus, and within 30 days they'll have an opportunity.
And if we can't do that because he's an American citizen, I at least want the entire left wing to start referring to FDR exclusively as war criminal FDR, because he tried and executed an American citizen who was allied with the Nazis in 3 weeks in a secret hearing at the Department of Justice. So, don't act like this is some shocking breach of what is constitutional law. This looks like it is a foreign military operation and not just two nuts committing murder.
Well, we got a lot to fix as a result of this. I'll say that.
And it doesn't start with amnesty for 20 million illegals when we have the immigration policy we have.
Well, if we enforce the laws we have and secure our border, we wouldn't have the problem.
That's part of it, but we need to change some of the law too. I mean, why are these people being admitted legally? How are they making the country better even when they're not blowing stuff up? Did we need another pushcart operator? No, I think not. Sorry, Danish surgeon, we don't have room for you.
And Coulter, good to see you. Thank you.